Yeah, but it just felt like she hijacked his 40th birthday for
Well, she
publicity
hijacks
for
everything,
herself.
doesn't she? She's hijacked the Invictus game. She's hijacked everything that he
Mm.
wants to do. She has to do it first and pushes him out of the way where we can all see it, or clings onto his hand and his arm as if he'd been arrested and that he can't move far from it. I mean, she has to control, absolutely has to control. It's it's just horrendous to see, actually. I feel that nobody should do that to someone that they live with because it's not fair.
Angela, goodness me, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have had a busy weekend of PR opportunities after that disastrous Hollywood Reporter article, which we will talk about later. So last night, we saw them heading out, happy couples, off to an event, Tyler Perry's event. Loads of other celebrities were doing the same thing, including Oprah Winfrey and Gayle King. But Harry, always the one to turn something very serious, was actually filming the paparazzi on his way in. Angela, there he is, because everything for Harry now is a battle, isn't it? Nothing is just about having fun. So what did you make of the fact that here they were making another public appearance over Harry's 40th birthday weekend that wasn't actually for him?
Yes, I think, to be honest, that Meghan wanted a lot of attention herself, and the only
Yes.
way to do that was to do it the day before his birthday. So everyone could see her, she could have a lovely time. She was very giggly, so I imagine maybe she had a drink or two or three. And I think Harry is pathetic to do that. I mean, we see these from people who turn up in the centre of London and start screaming at everyone and police and behave abominably badly. But that Harry would think that this is a good idea and start taking pictures of everyone when it's been a quite pleasant night is very sad, I think, very sad indeed. I mean, um, going there, Taylor Perry is very close to them, and he was very helpful when they wanted to come over to America, and they let them have one of his houses there. And
Yes.
so they were very grateful. He also actually made contact with Meghan by straight after the wedding to say he understood how difficult it was for her and he understands, and if she wants to talk to him, he's always there for her. Very nice for a stranger to do that. So that's how close they are. They really feel good that he was there. But it's very sad that Meghan always has to show herself and what she's doing. It's something very strange about that. You know, why not let Harry have a lovely time, leave him alone, and get on with it?
Well, it almost felt like, Angela, she didn't want to allow Harry to have any moment in the spotlight for for his 40th birthday. Because look, there are these pictures from the
Mm.
Alliance for Children's Rights, which actually took place on Harry's actual birthday, and there she is with her good mate Kelly McKee, Zaj Fenn, who is a model, of course, and who posted on X not about Harry on his birthday, but about Harry and Meghan, saying you've been such a guiding light for our family, not just in the way that you've shown up in friendship, but how you have shown up through incredible work the Archewell Foundation does. I'm in awe of your commitment to community and to friendship. And there's a lot of people saying, Angela, that Meghan asked her to post that to try and overcome all of the negative publicity that she was having to deal with. What did you make of that?
What I made of it is she spent £30,937 to go to that do. Oh, it's absolutely eye-opening, isn't it? She wanted
Mm.
to look sensational. Unfortunately, she doesn't. She can't wear clothes like, say, Catherine can or other women can. She always looks a bit frumpy, and it's not been made perfectly, but nonetheless, there she was. And it was an Archewell Foundation which sponsored the outing, and she obviously did that on that day so that it would take away the attention that Harry should have. It's very strange. They also, Harry said he wanted to spend a lot of his birthday with his children, and that was the best gift he'd ever had. Now, that's a very nice thing to say and quite right. But then you hop off and go somewhere else. It's a bit disappointing, not just for the children, or perhaps they're used to it, but because you've got to be in the papers. You don't like being in the papers, but then you've got to be in the papers because Meghan likes being in the papers. So it's just it's very sad and silly, isn't it? Who cares, actually, frankly?
Well, yeah, but it just felt like she hijacked his 40th birthday for
Well, she
publicity
hijacks
for
everything,
herself.
doesn't she? She's hijacked the Invictus Games. She's hijacked everything that he
Mm.
wants to do. She has to do it first and pushes him out of the way where we can all see it, or clings onto his hand and his arm as if he'd been arrested and that he can't move far from it. I mean, she has to control, absolutely has to control. It's just horrendous to see, actually. I feel that nobody should do that to someone that they live with because it's not fair.
No, indeed, indeed. It's a very odd one. Angela, you've been doing some research, though, into this PR spin coming out of Montecito, claiming that Harry has discovered a new family
Yeah.
in the US. So do you believe that? And what have you found out?
No, it's nothing, isn't it? It's actually, I think, people, they're either paid or they want to do this nonsense, and they want to take away the fact that he is, not welcome by the royal family. They want to say he's still wonderful. And there they have three of them. There is Meghan's mother, Doria. Is his stand-in mother. Can you believe that? No, I can't. Apparently, he relies on Doria for advice and support. Okay, that's that. And then there is the millionaire Nacho Figueras, who calls Harry his brother. He's a millionaire. He plays polo. And he gave him a gushing birthday tribute post and signed it off with the intimate words, I love you. Very nice, but a little odd for a man to say that and actually feel that he's also his brother. You can have very close friends, but it's not very tasteful to do that.
Mm.
And the other one is David Foster, who is
Yes.
a film man, and he's 74. And they say that he is so close to Harry that he really has become his father figure. Now, I don't think anything like that. It's very different if you lose your family. But if your family are there, but in a different place and don't approve of how you're behaving and are not even well, you don't have another family. It just doesn't work, does it? Because they can never make up to your family. It's never the same. You might like them. They might be a pal, but they're not going to be like your brother. It's just not, because there is something that you've had since the very, very beginning. And this is something he's had since he met Meghan. So, you can't compare the two. I thought it was a load of old nonsense, really.
But also, Angela, these are all Hollywood people, right?
Yeah.
I've spent loads of time working in Hollywood. They are as fake as you can possibly get. All of those people, apart from Doria, who's obviously a different kettle of fish, but all of those other people you've mentioned have huge amounts to gain through a relationship with Harry. So it's not a genuine relationship at all. They are yes men. They are people there to serve because they want royal connections.
And people will think that they're very important because they know Prince Harry. It's actually, you can gain on that in a whole sort of field. If you are a friend of Harry's, then people let you have tables in the best dining room and all sorts of nonsense like that. That's how they feel that they are close to the royal family or close to Harry. And of course they are, but you can't go beyond a certain mark. You can say, marvelous friend of mine, I really like you, it's great. But you don't start saying you're a father figure, you're a brother, and you're a mother.
But do you think psychologically, Angela, given how much he is struggling at the moment, and obviously that's something we've documented now over a number of weeks, that it's almost about convincing himself because he's lost his real father effectively, hasn't he? There's no close relationship anymore. Very often, as you've reported before, Charles doesn't even pick up the phone to him now. And William doesn't want anything to do with him. So I guess it's almost like enforced that he's had to try and find some sort of new father figure and brother because he's lost his blood relatives, even though they're alive, which is just so horrendous.
Yes, it's difficult. I don't know exactly, but my instinct says that they don't go anywhere deeply within him. I think he remembers so much about his mother still. He still thinks about her a great deal. I can't think he would ever consider having a substitute for her, whoever it was, even if it's his mother-in-law, or certainly not if it's his mother-in-law. And I think that nobody gets lower. That's why he's so miserable and looks so unhappy, because he's not really loved at the moment by the people who he wants to love him. But he's a fool, because how can he expect that if he's so rude about them and so hurtful? I think he doesn't feel, somebody told me very recently who knows him well, somebody said that he doesn't think he's ever wrong, and he doesn't think he's done, and he can't understand why they don't warm towards him. I know other people like that. They just can't see, because they've said it. They then want to move on. It's something awful. They want to move on. But actually, the individual they've really hurt can't do that. And why should they? It's a very peculiar way, but a lot of people are like that. They feel, well, that's done now. But it's not done now. It's there for a very long time. And he hasn't been able to make it better. I mean, when his first 30th birthday, he said he's committed to make the world a better place. Now, he might have money, he might have energy, but it's a nonsense thing to say, because he finds everything very difficult. And you can't be it's not a fairy tale that you're going to make the world a better place. What he needs to do is to make his own life better and apologize and behave properly and not attack your family. And I think that's something he doesn't feel right. There's no point doing the world, because the world is full of people, and the people inside the world need to have an idea of what's right and what's wrong, but he doesn't seem to have that. And to do what he's done to his family, I find profoundly unhappy.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, Angela. Beautifully put. Can I just read to you a couple of theories, Angela, based on why Prince Harry keeps on pulling out his camera, by the way, to take pictures of the paparazzi. So this is what the royal YouTuber, according to Taz, had to say about it. So they are going to a party for Tyler Perry. Paparazzi are there. Everyone's smiling and waving as they go in, especially Meg. But Harry is filming the paps. No one else has a problem but him, probably compiling more fake evidence for his security court case, just like New York. And then the Royal News Network posted on X, has anyone ever told Prince Harry that if he doesn't want to live with paparazzi attention, then do not move to Southern California and join the entertainment industry? I feel like that's pretty obvious. Also, your wife clearly loves it, if the manic grinning is any indication. Do you think they are fair points, Angela?
Yes, absolutely. I'm sorry I didn't see them before you did. Yeah, absolutely. Of course it is. If you don't want all the attention, then you don't go to the things, or you don't let them out, or it's all done very quietly. But Meghan can't do that. I think that's one reason why he's in such a mess, because he wants to be left alone. He doesn't want people taking pictures of him all the time, because it makes him think about his mother. It's a long time ago, but he still does. But Meghan wants as much attention as she can. And Harry is there as a sort of second-hand person just to make up the numbers, isn't he?
Yeah, and who would have
What
thought
is
that that's
interesting about the Tyler Perry is that they only have 8 bathrooms, and William and Meghan, not William, Harry and Meghan have 16. So there must be a bit of I'm better than you on that
just a
level.
small little mansion, just a
Yes,
tiny little
yes.
mansion. Now, of course, the big news over the weekend, Angela, was about Harry's birthday wish from King Charles or the
Mm.
royal family and Prince William and Catherine's ex accounts. But I've been desperate to talk to you about this because even though such a big thing has been made of it, I mean, the Daily Mirror put on its front page royal peace gesture, isn't the issue that if they hadn't done anything, they would have accused of looking churlish? And actually, specifically when you look at the royal family post, they had edited Meghan out of the picture and just used Harry. So that felt like a bit of a message because actually, right next to Harry, on Harry's left, was Meghan Markle. Yeah, there's the full picture. So he had been removed. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is, Angela, William and Catherine, when they're writing on X and it's a post that comes from their heart or is something personal that they've written themselves, they sign it off W or C, whereas actually, and sometimes actually W and C. But in this case, Angela, that didn't happen.
No. They also called him the Duchess of Sussex. They didn't say Harry. So it
Or the
was
Duke of
quite
Sussex,
formal.
yes.
Yeah, the Duke of Sussex, sorry. Yes, and so they it wasn't sort of warm, was it? I mean, the thing now is with the royal family is that they don't do annual birthdays. They don't recognize them if they're not working royals. But if there is something that's significant in their birthdays, they can do this. So they were just behaving very politely to do that. But if they hadn't done anything, everyone would have been at them thinking, couldn't they even just, dot, dot, dot. So that's why they did it. I don't think it's an olive branch. I don't think it's anything at all. It's just being well mannered and to avoid people thinking that they should behave differently. I need to say, though, that the picture, there were two of them, one with, as you said, Meghan, and one without. And they only sent the palace the one without. So I don't know that they knew that Meghan was there, but it doesn't matter. But if you look at Harry's face, which is alight with happiness and a big smile, that was in 2021. And he was a very happy person then. If you saw him now, you don't see very many smiles. You don't see that joy. This was the Harry I knew when I did the biography. He was sort of bubbling with happiness. And this one sort of still has that. But now you never see that. Now he's very serious and taking photographs of people who are hanging around a party.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And actually, if we just take one look again at that photograph of Harry in the car last night, because the more I think about it, Angela, the more it sums up their relationship. Look, there's Meghan, happy, maybe a bit tipsy, as you say, loving the fact that she's been papped on the way into a big celebrity event and she's going to be hanging around Oprah Winfrey and Gayle King and all of that lot again. And there's Harry next to her, utterly miserable, stone-faced, recording members of the paparazzi to try and prove his ridiculous point that he's stalked and harassed at all times. I just think that's such a sad portrait of the man at 40 years old, isn't it? The man who has everything, but actually still seems emotionally to have nothing.
The interesting thing is it's not just him there with Meghan. There's lots of well-known people there. There's Oprah and all sorts of people who are there, and they might not necessarily want to take him at all. Photographers stand up there and snap and snap and snap, hoping they get loads of pictures for
Yeah,
anybody
it's
and
not just
everyone
about
who's
you,
there.
Harry.
It's not exactly. It's not just about you, Harry, but he's anxious about that.
I know, it's like you're going to an A-list Hollywood parties attended by lots of A-listers, including Oprah
Yes.
Winfrey. The photographers would be there whether you were there or not, Harry. You know.
Yes.
But I don't know. It just summed up so much to me, Angela. It's like he can never let go. He can never just relax. He can never just have fun anymore. And actually, that's a really horrible way to live. It's someone who is consumed by negativity.
Yeah, you would think, though, actually, but what he said was that having become a father, he absolutely loves it. He absolutely loves being with his children. That's all he wanted there. As I said just before, there's the people who have helped him to have a lovely party will help him at that time. But
we never see
won't
that.
he see? No, I think when you're a father yourself or a mother yourself, you then realize how your mother or your father behaved with you and how important it is to make your relationship much better, because teenagers are tricky and difficult and argue, and I think that once you've experienced this, you then understand what being a parent is to a child, and you then try and behave in a much better way. You understand it, but it means that he's now emotionally engaged to his two children. That's lovely, but he can't see that his father has adored him. And it's just the fact that he's been so awful to him that he's cut him off. It's not because he's not been welcoming a son. And it's the same with William. I mean, they adored each other. Harry told me that, they can't separate. They're the people, they trust each other. They're the only people they trust, and they adore him. He told me that he wanted to really help his father. He thinks he's a marvelous man. And, now he's got those children, it should suddenly open up. It's amazing. It opens up to you. And you think, good heavens, I didn't understand that with my parents. I didn't understand. They wouldn't let me cross the road because they want to save me. You can be very butchy about that. Children don't like it, but they have to have it because to make them safe. And you just change your attitude to your family, and especially your parents. But he don't see that.
No, he hasn't, because he's surrounded by a woman, Angela, who is constantly justifying why she has cut out the man who literally raised her, who literally put her through school, who literally sent her to university. And I think it's that terrible thing, isn't it, sometimes where they both enable each other, Angela, and I think they enable each other's worst quality.
Welcome back. Fresh criticism is being directed at Meghan Markle following Prince Harry's 40th birthday celebrations, with royal commentators questioning whether the milestone became more about publicity than Harry himself. What should have been a personal occasion focused on the Duke of Sussex instead generated headlines about public appearances, celebrity events, and carefully staged photo opportunities. Critics argue that Harry's birthday quickly became overshadowed by the broader Sussex brand, raising new questions about the balance of attention within the couple's relationship. The controversy has reignited a familiar debate. Is Prince Harry truly leading his own public life, or has he become increasingly secondary to Meghan's public image strategy? One of the biggest talking points came when Harry and Meghan attended a high-profile event hosted by Tyler Perry during Harry's birthday weekend. Rather than keeping the focus on the birthday itself, cameras quickly shifted toward the couple's latest red carpet appearance. Meghan appeared relaxed and cheerful throughout the evening, while Harry once again attracted attention for very different reasons. Observers noticed Harry filming photographers as he arrived, a move that immediately sparked debate online. For many royal watchers, it highlighted what they see as a contradiction in Harry's public messaging. After years of criticizing media intrusion, some questioned why he continues placing himself in situations guaranteed to attract photographers and headlines. The images quickly went viral and became one of the most discussed moments of the weekend. One of the most striking points raised during the discussion was the comparison between Harry today and the Harry many people remember from his royal years. For decades, Harry was often viewed as one of the most popular members of the royal family. He appeared relaxed, approachable, and particularly successful in his work with veterans and charitable causes. Today, however, critics argue that his public image has changed dramatically. Recent photographs and appearances are frequently analyzed for signs of frustration, unhappiness, or emotional strain. Whether those perceptions are accurate or not, many commentators believe the cheerful and carefree prince once known to the public appears far less visible than before. The contrast continues to generate discussion among royal observers. Adding another layer to the story was the decision by Buckingham Palace and the Wales family to publicly acknowledge Harry's 40th birthday. Some media outlets described the gesture as an olive branch and suggested it could represent a thawing of relations between Harry and the royal family. Others disagreed entirely. Critics noted that the message was brief, formal, and lacked the personal touches often seen in messages directed toward close family members. They also pointed out that Meghan was cropped out of the image used in the birthday tribute, something many interpreted as significant. For those observers, the message was less about reconciliation and more about basic royal courtesy. Despite headlines suggesting a possible peace offering, many royal analysts remain skeptical that genuine reconciliation is imminent. The issues dividing Harry and the royal family extend far beyond birthday greetings. Years of interviews, public criticism, legal battles, memoir revelations, and damaged trust continue to cast a long shadow over relationships within the monarchy. While polite public gestures may continue, few insiders believe they signal a meaningful breakthrough. Instead, many view them as examples of the royal family maintaining professionalism while keeping emotional distance. For now, the gap between the two sides appears as wide as ever. What should have been a straightforward celebration of Prince Harry turning 40 instead generated fresh scrutiny of his marriage, his public image, and his relationship with the royal family. From celebrity appearances and paparazzi moments to debates over control, visibility, and family tensions, the weekend produced far more questions than answers. The biggest question remains whether Harry is genuinely happy with the life he has built in California, or whether growing frustrations are beginning to surface more publicly than ever before. As royal watchers continue analyzing every development, one thing is certain: even a birthday celebration can become another chapter in the ongoing Sussex saga.